I live in Washington State, and at the time this happened, I lived with my parents in our small, remote house. It was about 20 minutes from the nearest town, and our neighbors were half a mile in each direction. This isn't uncommon here, as it's mostly vast forest landscape throughout, with small towns here and there and a couple of big cities. Anyways, I'd grown up in that house my whole life, so I was used to the isolated nature of it. It never really made me nervous or anything, but one incident that happened when I was 14 made me terrified of our location. It was spring break, and my parents had planned a trip to Florida. We were supposed to leave for the airport on Sunday morning. However, there was a complication at my dad's work a couple of days before, so unfortunately we had to cancel the trip. To make up for it, my parents took me to a water park on Sunday. It was fun, but I was still upset that the trip had to be canceled. We were there for maybe 4 or 5 hours before a strong storm cloud was seen heading our way. It was coming in quickly, so pretty much everyone at the pool started packing and leaving. By the time we got home, the storm had completely come down on us. The rain was intense, and the thunder and lightning were frequent. But this is where things started to get strange. We pulled into the driveway and immediately noticed that the garage was wide open. My dad assumed that he had just forgotten to close it, or maybe the sensor got caught on something on the way down and stopped it. However, my mom was sure that she had seen it close fully when we left. There didn't seem to be anything else unusual, so we all got out and made our way inside. My mom pressed the button to close the garage, and it closed without any issues. My parents both went to the couch and turned on the TV while I made my way upstairs to my room. The rain was coming down even harder at this point, filling the whole house with that loud rumbling sound. But halfway up the stairs, I swear I heard something moving in the hallway. I quickly continued up, trying to see if there was an animal or something, but nothing was there. What I did notice, though, was that my bedroom lights were on. This was strange because I knew that I hadn't turned them on at all today, and I definitely wouldn't have left them on if I did. At this point, I wasn't really sure what to think. I thought I must have just forgotten about the lights, or maybe something weird happened with the wiring, and they turned on. I didn't know. I was still a little scared, so I stood in the hallway for a bit before making my way over to the door. Standing right outside my room, I listened, trying to make sure it was safe before entering. A few moments of silence passed before I heard something shuffling around. It was very faint and quiet, as if it were a small rodent moving between boxes. I cracked the door open, figuring I was going to see a rat or something running around, but I didn't see anything at first glance. I entered and closed the door behind me. My room actually looked completely normal and untouched. Usually, when an animal gets into the house, there's clear evidence of a mess. I got down on my knees and looked under the bed and around the floor for any signs of an animal. But again, there was nothing. I got up and sat on my bed, just thinking about how strange this all was. But as I sat there collecting my thoughts, a shadow quickly moved across the bottom of my bedroom door from out in the hallway. My heart stopped for a moment, terrified, as I could tell by the size of the shadow that it was definitely a person. I instantly stood up from my bed, trying to think of what to do, as I was pretty much trapped in my room unless I wanted to risk running out. I picked up my phone and texted my dad that someone else was upstairs. Almost immediately, the message showed that it was read, and I could hear him quickly coming up the stairs. I stood by my door nervously, listening to his footsteps getting closer, expecting someone to jump him. But after a few seconds, he opened my door. He looked at me with concern, and I quickly whispered to him what I saw. I think he could sense the fear in my voice, and we both made our way down the hall and back downstairs. Just as we got to the bottom of the steps, a single loud thud came from upstairs, followed by hard running footsteps down the hall. We ran into the living room, where my dad picked up a small bat he had lying in the corner. But the footsteps were now sprinting down the steps, followed by the front door swinging open. We turned the corner and saw the door wide open, with a man in the distance running away. My dad called 911, and they arrived almost 30 minutes later due to the location of our house. They talked with my parents, asked me a few questions, and searched around for a little bit before leaving. As far as I know, they never found the guy, but the general idea was that someone knew we were supposed to leave for vacation on Sunday morning. This is pretty unnerving, as it means it's very likely that the person who broke into our house is someone our family knows and talks to. It really makes you wonder who your true friends are.